Hello, I'm Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes from the BBC Sports Centre. Coming up on the programme, the young Chinese rookie Ruan Ying wins the Women's PGA Championship. King of Queens Carlos Alcaraz wins his first title on grass and regains the world #1 ranking ahead of Wimbledon. And the St. Louis Cardinals fight back to beat Chicago Cubs and draw the MLB London Series. Welcome to the programme. The young Chinese golfer Ruan Ying, in her rookie year, has won the Women's PGA Championship, her first major title. And she did it in style with a dramatic victory on the final round in New Jersey, which had been delayed for bad weather. The 20-year-old Ruan Ying was level with Japan's Yuka Saso on 7 under, heading to the 18th hole. Saso made par, but Ruan Ying rolled in a birdie to beat the former US Open Women's champion by a shot. Northern Ireland's Stephanie Meadow was tied for 3rd, and the overnight leader, Leona Maguire from Ireland, finished tied 11th. Well, Keegan Bradley overcame a back 9 wobble to claim his 2nd PGA Tour victory this season with an impressive 3-stroke win at the Travelers Championship. The former US PGA winner took a 1-shot lead into the final day in Connecticut, but he led by as many as 6 strokes at one point, only to give hope to the chasing pack by making 3 bogeys in 4 holes. The American then recovered to card a 68, 23 under for the tournament. Rory McIlroy finished tied for 7th. Tennis now, and Carlos Alcaraz is now the top seed for Wimbledon after winning Queens, his first title on grass. His impressive victory over Alex de Minaur in the final means he's also the world #1, overtaking Novak Djokovic in the seedings for Wimbledon, which starts in a week's time. Patrick Geary reports.
One of the most popular paths to Wimbledon runs through West Kensington. Queens is a good place to see the future. Its grass courts are strange territory for Carlos Alcaraz, but he's been growing on these lawns, adjusting his game accordingly. In Alex de Minaur, he had an opponent who could provide a test, a bundle of Aussie energy. At times in the first set, he threatened Alcaraz, only to ultimately lose the argument. And after several flowing phrases of tennis, the set was finished with an Alcaraz full stop. He seemed to need the pause. The physio was called to provide some comfort. A few extra seconds in the shade would have helped. The temperature in London was above 30 degrees, but the pace didn't seem to drop. Earlier in the week, de Minaur knocked Andy Murray out, but it hasn't affected his popularity. The Australian here making the ball boomerang, touche for the trick shot. But the big shots were all from Alcaraz. He imposed his will on his first grass court final and soon seemed entirely at home. He came to Queens, he says, to educate himself about grass. He leaves it as the champion and world #1.
I started the tournament not really well, as you said. I had to adapt my movement, a little bit on grass to get experience. But it's been an amazing week, ending the week with a lot of energy.
So at just 20 years old, Alcaraz is king of Queens and Wimbledon top seed. He is making English grass his turf. Patrick Geary, BBC News.
Well, Kazakhstan's Alexander Bublik, meanwhile, defeated Andrei Rublev in 3 sets to win the biggest title of his career at the Halle Open. Rublev, who's the world #7, was looking to become the first player to win ATP 500 titles on all 3 surfaces. But he found Bublik ranked 48th in the world in fine form ahead of Wimbledon, winning only his 2nd tour title. Well, meanwhile, at the women's tournaments, Petra Kvitova boosted her hopes of a 3rd Wimbledon title by winning the German Open in Berlin, sweeping past Donna Vekic in straight sets. While at the Birmingham Classic, Yelena Ostapenko won her 2nd title on grass with victory over Barbora Krejcikova. She clinched a very tight first set in a tiebreak and then went on to win the 2nd set 6-4. It was the Latvian's first straight sets win of the tournament. She'll now move to Eastbourne.
I played 5 great matches. This was the only match in 2 sets, thankfully, because it was, I mean, every match was really tough one. But it's a great preparation for Wimbledon, and I'm really happy with the way I play, and there's still a couple more things I can do better and then get ready for Wimbledon.
Cricket now in Australia have the upper hand in the women's Ashes test at Trent Bridge. England will start the final day on 116 for 5, chasing what would be a record score of 268 to win. Australia were all out in their second innings for 257. Sophie Ecclestone, once again, England's best bowler, taking 5 wickets. That's 10 for the match. But in reply, the batters lost 5 wickets before the close, and they need 152 runs to win on the final day.
Well, it was 268 more than they had going into their second innings, so it's always nice to have those runs on the board, absolutely. I thought, you know, we probably left a few out there, especially after tea. We lost a few quick wickets, and we recognised that, but also, you know, it was really tough conditions to bat in. I didn't find it easy, and I'd faced 120, 30 balls, so hopefully our bowlers can get in the right spot tomorrow and we take those 5 wickets. Just one football transfer line for you, and Kalidou Koulibaly is the latest Chelsea footballer to move to Saudi Arabia after he completed a transfer to Al Hilal for an undisclosed fee. The centre-back joins Real Madrid star Karim Benzema at Al Hilal, while N'Golo Kante has agreed to sign for the Saudi champions Al Ittihad. Koulibaly's Chelsea teammate Edouard Mendy is also close to moving to the Saudi Pro League. Now, Zarnell Hughes says the sky is the limit after running 9.83 seconds to break Linford Christie's 30-year British 100 metres record. The reigning European 200 metres champion took 0.04 of a second off Christie's record in New York this weekend. His time was also the quickest in the world this year. Well, I spoke to him earlier, and first I asked him how it felt to be the fastest man in Britain.
It's still a surreal moment for me because this morning I got up and I was like, I saw all the comments, all the posts and everything, and I was like, is this really happening, you know? I'm just happy to finally achieve a major milestone in my career, and this is something I've been working towards. Obviously, my main focus wasn't to go out there to break the record yesterday. It was just to run fast and execute my phases properly.
Did it feel that fast, Zarnell? Because the start wasn't the best start, was it? So did you feel like you were going at that sort of pace?
Honestly, I didn't actually. I thought it was like 9:90 or about 9:95 or something about that time. But it's when I turned around and I saw the time on the board, and I heard the stadium announcement saying 9:83. I was like, "What?" That's the whole reaction you guys saw.
This was obviously a 30-year record that Linford Christie held. He sometimes trains you, doesn't he, when you two meet up? So how does it feel to have broken his really long-standing record, and what are you going to say when you meet him?
It feels good because every time I'm over in the UK, Linford, if my coach isn't there, he'll catch my times for me, and you know he'll be like, "Yo, that's pretty fast. That's looking good." But we never actually spoke about the record. But I'm looking forward to when I'm next in the UK, which will be next week, and I'm looking to shake his hand, you know, and you know, just give him a big hug because he's a really cool guy to me, and he's always been supportive, and we have a really good relationship.
Now, you also hinted, Zarnell, that this is just the beginning. You said that you haven't even been working on the real speed stuff. This is more about kind of raw speed and endurance. So how much quicker can you go, do you think?
We're still in June, and championship is in August, so I'm pretty sure I can go a lot much faster. My coach and we spoke yesterday after the whole thing. He was pointing out what he sees that can be worked on, and he said you can run pretty faster. So just be focused and stay consistent, and we'll get there. So we'll see. The sky's the limit.
Good luck to Zarnell Hughes. Now, Italy's Francesco Bagnaia won the Dutch MotoGP at Assen ahead of his fellow countryman and title rival Marco Bezzecchi. Now, the result extends Bagnaia's lead in the championship to 35 points going into the break. Bezzecchi also is a Ducati rider. He was second, and Spain's Alex Espargaro completed the podium. Racing will start again in early August. France's Sebastian Ogier won the 70th edition of the Safari Rally Kenya after just managing to hold off this season's points leader Caleb Rovanpera in a thrilling finale. Ogier, who's an 8-time world champion, held a narrow 13.6-second advantage over the reigning champion Rovanpera going into the final 3 stages of the event. But that margin was cut to just under 10 seconds going into the last route. Ogier, though, held on for the win. Now it's the final day of Major League Baseball's visit to London. The St. Louis Cardinals beat the Chicago Cubs 7-5 in the second game of the series. The Cubs led by 4 runs after the first inning, but the Cardinals took the lead in the fourth and never looked back. Paul Goldschmidt driving in the go-ahead run to send them on the way to victory. The two teams share the series after the Cubs won 9-1 in Saturday's first game. Well, that's it for me. There is plenty more on the BBC Sport website, but for me and the team here at the BBC Sports Centre, it's goodbye.